So today I'm going to show you how I mix any colors using my limited palette. For this I picked up a few swatches from the hardware store and I'm gonna try to match them, and I will explain you my process. Before watching today's video, please watch my video about the color wheel if you haven't seen it, and the video where I introduce all the colors that I have on my limited palette. So let's jump right into it and I will explain you my process while doing it. So let's try to match a first color. When I try to match my color, the first question I'm asking is which hue that color belongs to. A color always comes with three things: the hue family it belongs to, the value, how dark or how light is that color, and the saturation, how colorful is that color or how gray is that color. So a color always comes with these three things: hue, value, and saturation. Knowing that the most important of these three things when you try to depict a realistic subject is the value. The value is the most important, the color comes after. So here today I'm gonna try to match a local color, but when we actually mixing colors in real life, the local color is something we mix only a little bit, because now you see this paper is flat and I'm just gonna try to match the local color. But when we paint a subject, we paint not only the local color, but we paint the color that is being influenced by the light. And we also paint the shadows. So the shadow and the light are two different worlds. This is very important to understand, and I will talk more about that in future videos. This color, now I'm asking myself the first question: which hue this color belongs to. So if I take the color wheel, I'm gonna do the other way around, I'm gonna take the swatch to the color wheel. I can see that this is probably a orange, and that this orange is slightly desaturated, and yeah, it's a lighter value, more or less here. All right, so let's start directly. Do I have an orange on my palette? Yes, I do have an orange on my palette, which is this one. It's a transparent iron oxide red. This is a red orange. So this is also very important to understand that brown is orange. So why we say brown is orange, and why I don't use the term brown or the word brown? Because basically it's very important to talk with hues and not with color name. Brown is a color name. It's not, brown doesn't find its position on the color wheel. It finds its position in the color wheel, but it's actually around here. It's actually, brown is actually a desaturated red, desaturated orange, or desaturated yellow, and it will sit around here on the color wheel, in the middle, close to the middle. Depending your pigment, it can be close to black. So we know now that this color sits probably around orange, and it is slightly going towards the center of the color wheel because it's desaturated. So I don't want to start with this orange because it's already way too desaturated. I might add that orange in the mix later. I'm gonna use the color wheel to mix this orange, so I know from the color wheel that mixing red and yellow gives me orange. So I'm gonna take one red and one yellow, and I will see which orange I obtain with that. So my red is very powerful, so it's overpowering my yellow, and I can see here the value is too dark and it's too red. So there is only 6 questions that I ask to myself when I mix a color. When I'm to that stage, I'm just asking myself, is it more red? Is it more orange? Is it more yellow? Is it more green? Is it more blue? Is it more violet? That's the 6 questions that I ask. These 6 questions matches the 6 main hue families. And if you go with simple question like that, you can match really any colors you want. So here it's more yellow, so I'm adding more yellow. Then the next thing is to understand your pigment very good. So this is very important, and this is why it's very useful to have a limited palette at the beginning, at least, because that way it's faster to learn how our pigment interact with each other. Here I'm clearly still there's too much red in my mix. I need more yellow, And I know as well that I need the value to be lighter. So I'm gonna add more yellow, and with that yellow, I'm gonna add a little bit of white. White will desaturate my color a little bit, and I can see here that this color that I mix is way more saturated than this color. So I'm gonna add a little bit of white with my yellow to desaturate my mix a little bit. White desaturated the mix very fast, so we have to be very careful when we add white to a mix. So here I can see that the value is getting closer already. I'm still too dark, and I can see I'm still a little bit too red. So I'm gonna add some more white. I'm gonna add a touch of yellow, and we will see where that brings us. So this is already getting very close, but I'm still too, I will say I'm a little bit too orange still. Not too orange, but it's still a little bit too saturated. I'm gonna add more white in the mix to desaturate more my color. Yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty close. I will say that this in real life, I will call it a match. You see? I will call it a match, especially since we mix color. When we mix color, when we are painting a subject, the color always depends on the context. So you will see that when you mix color pretty good or close enough, it's usually good enough. But I will call it a match, and we can go to the next color. All right, now on to the next color. So as you can see here, this one is less obvious because this one doesn't really sit on the color wheel. So what I can see here, that he has probably red in it, probably orange. It's probably a red, orange, red that is highly desaturated, so around here on the color wheel. So now I can use this desaturated orange to see where I land first. So as usual, the most important is the value, so I'm gonna try as fast as possible to reach the same value. As you can see, even though the mass tone is highly desaturated, when we mix into the white, we can see that this color is not that desaturated actually. It's pretty saturated mixed into the white. And here I see the value is very close already. So I'm gonna keep it like that. And now I know that I can see here again, I go back to my sixth question. Now I have a value that is close enough. So now I go back to my sixth question. Does my mix need more yellow, more orange, more red, more violet, more blue, or more green? So I look at the color I'm trying to match, and I see that my mix needs probably more, I will say more blue. I will not say more red at this stage, but more blue at least. It needs more blue. So I'm gonna take my blue and I'm gonna add a little bit of my blue. Now, like I said, the most important is the value, not the color. So this blue here, you see, this value here, if I take it, it's very dark. It's very dark. And my value that I'm trying to match is way lighter. So what I can do first, I don't have to do it first, I can add it after, but it's just to show you the principle. I'm gonna lighten that blue, and that way I'm introducing in my pile another color but the same value. All right, I'm close enough. One more time. And now, oh, also I added blue as well because blue is the complementary color of orange. We are trying to mix in a desaturated orange, so when we have a color like this, we want to desaturate the color, we travel across the color wheel, and we see that the complement color of orange is blue. Again, watch my video about my color wheel if you haven't seen it. This is very important to understand. So let's see what this blue makes to our mix. So now, again, I go back to my sixth question. Does my mix need more blue more yellow or more red. And here indeed I can see that it doesn't need more red, it's red enough, but now it probably needs more yellow. I know that the yellow that I have on my palette are from a lighter value, so it most likely is gonna lighten my color a little bit. This yellow, it's darker than my other yellow. I'm gonna use this one to not lighten the color too much. And basically now I realize that I'm too yellow and that I will need actually, now it looks like it's more green. So what does that tell us? I just added yellow. And so to create green, I use yellow and blue. It gives me green. So instead of adding green, I'm just gonna add more blue to my mix. This is very dark, so I'm gonna add a little more white with it. Now, we are pretty close, I think, in terms of hue, but the value is still slightly darker. So at this stage, once I see that my hue matches the targeted color, well then I just have to add a little bit of white in order to raise the value. This might be too much, and that's okay. Once you start to mix your color like this, you will quickly realize that any pile, any color mixing pile can be brought in any direction. So there is never a waste of paint. You can reuse any pile and bring it in any direction you want. There we go. I will say that this is a little too saturated, but we'll check. So then when you mix color like this, then it's tricky because the paint is shiny. But let's see. Yeah, I think it's very close. I will still let's push it a little further, just a little bit, just to have fun, and add a little more blue. I will say that a dot of blue will match completely the color. We'll see if I'm right. I didn't add white this time because I wanted to darken the color just slightly. So now I already see that it's lacking some red now. So I'm just gonna add a dot of red as well. I can add directly my red orange. It's already desaturated, so it's not gonna saturate my pile too much. And now I should be good. So that way you see that there is no mistake in color mixing. It's just adjusting your pile the way you want. There we go. I think I really matched it now. Yeah, this is a better match, I would say. Yeah, that's a better match, you see. You can barely see the color. All right, so you see, now you can clearly see the difference with the color that I mixed before. It's not exactly a match. In real life, it's still slightly different, but again, this is good enough. All right, let's go to the last color. All right, the next color, our last color. So this color, first things first, as usual, we try to locate the hue of the color. So this is most likely a desaturated green yellow, yellow green. I will say green yellow, more here and around here on the color wheel, that is desaturated. I have a green on my palette here, which is Viridian. I don't use it to mix green. I use it in my mix. I will talk maybe more about this color in another video. But to mix my green, I usually use one of my blues and one of my yellow. So here I will say for that color I can see some red in it, so I will start with ultramarine blue, since ultramarine blue has some red in the blue, and I will use cadmium yellow light. It also has some red, this yellow. We'll see where we arrive. Again, what's the most important is the value. So I'm directly gonna try to match the value as close as possible. I can see here that I'm still too dark. Now I can add more yellow, but if I add more yellow, I might go too much on this side of the green spectrum. As I said before that this color is desaturated, I'm gonna use some white because white will desaturate my color. This is probably too much. I'm gonna use less at the beginning just to see. I'm still too dark, slightly too dark. I'm gonna add a bit more white. There we go. And now I'm going back to my sixth question. Do I need more red? Do I need more blue? Do I need more violet? Do I need more green? Do I need more yellow? Or do I need more orange? I'm a little too white. I'm too green, too white. The camera has a very hard time to pick up the green. I hope it's gonna read correctly. So I'm too green and I'm too white. So I will probably need more orange. And as I have a desaturated orange and that the color I'm trying to match look more desaturated, this is perfect. I'm gonna use my transparent iron oxide red to darken a little bit the color, to desaturate it a little bit my pile, and to bring a little more red orange in the mix. As you can see, it's going better already. I'm getting closer. On the camera, I think it looks greener. It's actually very close already. I'm not sure on the camera. I'm not sure the camera picks that up correctly. But yeah, I'm very close. I will say a little touch of white. When I added this transparent iron oxide red, I added a little too much dark value in there. And that might be too much white, but we will see. Yeah, I lost the color a little too much here. Like I said, there is no problem. You can always go back. Yeah, especially on the camera. In real life, the difference is not that big, but on camera, I believe it's pretty big. Here, I'm gonna add more blue. I'm gonna add more yellow. And what I'm doing here, basically, I'm just going back to the beginning of what I did, just to bring back more saturation to my mix, because white removed a lot of saturation. And now I think I'm getting very, very close. Slightly more blue. So I'm gonna add more white with that blue. I'm gonna add more orange. There's not only one path to lead to the right color. There's many paths to one color. So that's a good news. I will say the way I read my color now, I will need a darker value and I will need more red. So I will use that red to bring a darker value in my mix and to add more red without being too desaturated. And now I'm too red now. I'm gonna bring more blue in, a little bit more blue and some yellow. There we go. I don't know how it appears on camera. In real life, it appears pretty good. Yeah, I still think there is a little too much yellow in there. So let's push it a little further, and to not add red in that mix, I'm gonna add a bit of blue. This is cobalt blue, so it sits very much on the blue spectrum. It doesn't have red, it doesn't have green in it, or yellow. So as my blue was a darker value, my mix might have changed value. I have to keep that in mind and mix correctly my color. All right, I think that's good. As I'm slightly darker, I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of white, not too much, just a little bit, just to raise the value a little bit to match that color. There we go. So I hope this was useful. Please comment, put a like on this video if you think it was useful. Watch the other video about color mixing. That's gonna really help you if you have issues with color mixing. And I'm gonna keep talking about color mixing on the channel, so make sure to subscribe if that's something you like and you find useful. I will say that's a match. Again, the color in the context will be completely okay when we try to match a local color. Sometimes it's even hard to see if we matched it exactly. So I usually say that 99% it's good enough. You see, I think it's good enough. And what matters again is the principle, the way you think when you mix your color. That's what's gonna help you. And not to match 100% each color, because this is not necessary. What's necessary is that your color works in the context of your painting. So there we go. I hope you found it useful. Please ask any question in the comment below, and also you can get one of these color wheel on my website if you don't have one. This is a very useful tool that you should have in your studio if you are trying to learn how to mix any colors with oil paint. This really helps you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.